Based on true reports. Seattle, 2019. My name is Daniel Reed. For 14 years I worked the night shift as the building custodian of the Hawthorne Apartments on 5th Avenue, Seattle. I wrote this statement the same night I quit. I sent copies to management, to building security, and to the police. No one ever gave me an answer. But everything I'm about to tell you happened exactly as I remember it. It started on January 16th at 12:09 a.m. The intercom buzzed from apartment 3B. The tenant, Nora Hayes, sounded terrified. She said someone was walking outside her door, said she saw a shadow move across the peephole. The apartment across from her, 3A, had been vacant for years. I looked out the small window of the maintenance office. The courtyard was still. No wind, snow falling in slow motion. The security feed showed no movement. The front door was locked. No one had entered or left. I told Nora to lock her door and keep the line open. I grabbed my keys, switched on the hallway lights, and started up the stairs. After midnight, a building feels alive in the wrong way. You can hear the wires hum, pipes sigh like lungs. By the time I reached the 3rd floor, I could smell burnt wiring, faint, like a memory. The light above apartment 3A flickered every few seconds. When I got to Nora's door, the intercom was still live. Her breathing filled the speaker. She whispered that something just moved past the peephole again. I looked through it myself. Empty. Across the hall, the door to 3A stood closed. Thick paint, rusted knob, layers of stickers from moving companies long gone. On the floor between them, I saw footprints. 2 prints only, perfectly side by side. No trail leading in. No trail leading out. Like someone had appeared there and stayed perfectly still. I told Nora to stay calm. Then I unlocked 3A. The smell of damp wood hit me first. The air was heavy and cold. I swept my flashlight across the walls, peeling wallpaper, exposed pipes, dead outlets, empty kitchen. Nothing. But near the window, a single handprint marked the dusty glass. Not on the inside of the dust, under it, as if the hand had been there before the dust settled. I stepped back into the hall, told Nora I'd check the breaker panel. That's when I heard the elevator, a metallic thud. Then the button for the 3rd floor lit up. But the feed showed the cab was empty. Still, the motor whined, then stopped between the 2nd and 3rd floors. The security office said all systems were fine, but the hallway camera had a delay, half a second behind the sound. Half a second isn't much, unless you realize something's watching you from half a second away. I returned to 3B, knocked once. Nora didn't answer. I told her, if you can hear me, knock back once. One soft tap came through the door, then silence. I used the master key. The door opened slowly. The lights were on. Nora stood in the middle of the living room facing the wall. She didn't move. I followed her gaze. On the wall was a picture frame, a small photo of her and her mother. The reflection in the glass wasn't right. 2 ceiling lights instead of one. One above her, and one directly behind me. I asked, "Where's your phone?" She pointed to the table. The screen was lit. The call log showed a series of missed calls from an unknown number, all within the last 5 minutes. The latest call had 0 seconds of duration, meaning the phone never actually rang. Then Nora said, "I want to show you something." She pulled her refrigerator 2 steps away from the wall. Behind it, a metal vent cover, smaller than a shoebox, was screwed into the drywall. A sliver of light leaked from the edges. I unscrewed it. Behind the vent was a narrow cavity, the width of a pipe chase, too small for a person. But inside it sat an old beige telephone, a corded landline with no wire connected. It rang. I told Nora to step back. I put on gloves and picked it up. Breathing. Low, slow, and wrong. Half a second behind mine. I said, "Who is this?" My own voice came back through the receiver, slightly delayed. Then a whisper. "Mr. Reed, 3rd floor." I never told anyone my name. I hung up, escorted Nora downstairs to the lobby, called the police. They said a patrol car was on the way. When I checked the monitors again, the feed for the 3rd floor was frozen. Same empty hallway, same light flicker, but something had changed. The door to 3A was cracked open. Frame by frame, it opened and closed, each flicker 1 frame apart. Someone was moving in the gaps. I went back up. The air was colder now. The burned wire smell was stronger. On the floor near the footprints was a scatter of gray dust, shaped like letters. It spelled, "Don't look." I opened 3A again. The air was dead. No movement, no sound. Inside, faint outlines on the walls, squares where picture frames once hung. In the bedroom closet, a large piece of cardboard leaned against the wall. Someone had drawn hundreds of vertical lines across it, as if counting days. Behind it, another hole in the drywall. I aimed my flashlight. Inside was a plastic bag. I pulled it out. A photo album, dusty and cracked. Inside, over 100 photos. Every one showed the same hallway. Different nights, doors half open. Each shot taken from low to the ground, like someone lying there. In a few, a dark silhouette stood at the far end, head cropped out of frame. On the last photo, written in blue pen, "Keep the doors closed." I stepped into the hall. The door to 3B was open now. The lights inside were off. From the stairwell came the faint buzz of the elevator motor again. Stopped between floors. I looked at my phone. A new text. No name, just an image. It was the hallway. The same view from the camera feed, except I was in it, my back turned, heading for the stairs, and behind me, the door to 3A opening slowly. The police arrived 10 minutes later. 2 young officers, polite but skeptical. I told them everything, showed them the monitors. The footage from midnight to 12:40 was corrupted. White noise, static lines. In one frame, my reflection appeared twice, 1/2 second behind the other. They searched every floor. No signs of entry. No footprints except mine. They said, "Probably a wiring glitch, Mr. Reed." They left. Nora moved out that night. Left her keys on the front desk. I stayed till morning. At 2:30, I went to restart the elevator. It was stuck between the 2nd and 3rd floors. I reset the power, checked the intercom line. The safety phone inside the elevator rang. I answered. My own voice came through. "The cab is empty." Then, breathing, 1/2 second behind. By dawn, the snow had stopped. I turned in my keys and filed my resignation. Wrote fatigue as the reason, not fear. They wouldn't have believed that. Weeks passed. I started a new job downtown. Different building, same long nights. But every night, at 12:09, my phone buzzed. No caller ID. The screen flashes. Video intercom. Incoming. I don't answer. I just listen to the silence. And sometimes, right after the buzz ends, I hear a voice. Faint, delayed, familiar. Keep the doors closed. People think silence is peace, but silence is only what's left when something is waiting to breathe.